Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Today, we will revisit the Canterbury uprising of October 15, 2003. Daddy, the taxi I came down in this morning drive past Canterbury and I heard a lot of shots firing over there. A lot of police are on the bridge but they can't go over there. Daddy, it looks serious. You better check it out. Those were the words of my son who was on his way to school at St.James High School on the morning of the infamous Canterbury uprising, which saw heavily armed gangsters taking on members of the security forces in an 8-hour-long show of brazen gangland bravado. After the conversation with my son, I alerted my photographer Patrick Campbell about what was taking place, and together we journeyed down to Canterbury. When we got there, it was like walking into a war zone. Some policemen were hiding behind buildings, while others were crawling on their stomach along the roadway as heavy gunfire came at them. At one point in time, we feared that the police were going to be overrun, as some of them had started retreating down King Street as the brazen gunmen heaped on the pressure. When the shooting finally ended, 3 young men from the Canterbury community lay dead, while Montego Bay's much revered image as the capital of hospitality was left in tatters. In the story I wrote for the Gleaner, which was published the following day, the headline read as follows: 8-hour gun battle, 3 men killed, 3 cops wounded in Canterbury, Montego Bay. The lead paragraphs of the story read as follows: in a standoff lasting more than 8 hours, 3 gunmen were shot and killed, 3 policemen shot and injured, and a large cache of ammunition seized in the volatile Canterbury community in Montego Bay. The heavy sound of gunfire rang out across nearby communities as the police attempted to disarm gunmen tooting powerful AK-47s in the inner city community. The injured policemen, who have all been admitted to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, have been identified as Corporal Franklin Hunter, who was shot in his left arm, Constable Wilbert Hunter, who was shot in the buttocks, and Constable Laurie Nelson, who was shot in the chest. During the raging gun battle, 3 police officers ended up being trapped in a major drain that runs alongside the Canterbury community. At one point, a Jamaica Defence Force helicopter attempted a low flyover of the community, but was forced to beat a hasty retreat as the gangsters, who were firing from platforms created in trees and from behind sandbags, fired on the aircraft. As the afternoon replaced the morning, the tide finally changed in favor of the security forces when the police were joined by a contingent of gas mask-wearing soldiers. The soldiers managed to tactically maneuver their way into the community. During that phase of the operation, 3 men were killed after they allegedly engaged the security forces in a shootout. In providing the details of how the gangsters were defeated, the Gleaner provided the following details. The dead were not all identified, but the Gleaner was advised that a man called Che, who is said to be the right-hand man for the local Don, was numbered among those killed. The police, who were among a special team deployed from Kingston on Monday to deal with the escalating violence in Montego Bay, went into the Canterbury community early Wednesday morning when, according to the lawmen, they came under attack. We tried to enter the area at about 5:30 a.m. and were greeted by gunfire from men carrying AK-47 assault rifle, said Senior Superintendent Donald Pusey. On the day following the gun battle, the police went back into Canterbury with a search team and sniffer dogs. By mid-morning, reports surfaced that they had found 4 AK-47s, 1 M16 assault rifle, a bag with over 600 rounds of assorted ammunition, military fatigue, and a quantity of ganja. Assistant Commissioner of Police Arthur Stitch Martin, who had journeyed down from Kingston late Wednesday afternoon to take control of the situation, was quite adamant that the police would not leave the community until the gunmen and the guns were found. We will be searching every crevice and every corner until we find all the guns and the men who fired them at the security forces, ACP Martin told the Gleaner. SSP Pusey, who had told the gleaner that the guns would be found, was clearly quite pleased. I told you that we would not leave until we found the guns. It is here for everyone to see. 4 AK-47s, 1 M16, and a .38 pistol. Later in the day, the police also found an additional 2 guns, a Mark 1.45 semi-automatic pistol and a .45 revolver, which were dug up from a yard in the community. Reputed gangster Omar King Eve Lewis, who the police later identified as one of the masterminds behind the illicit gun for drug trade between Jamaica and Haiti, was named as a person of interest in the incident. We are presently searching for this man, but indications are that he is off the island. Superintendent Denver Freighter, the police commander for St. James, told the gleaner. If needs be, we might see the help of our overseas counterparts to apprehend him. 2 incidents that took place during the 8-hour standoff will forever remain etched in my memory. In one of the incidents, in an exchange of heavy gunfire, a group of policemen began running off down King Street. SSP Pusey, who was standing alongside myself and Patrick Campbell, bellowed out to them, "Where the bomber clot do you think gonna go in? The 2 journalists them there and a run, and the police on a run?" Another incident that I found amusing involved a policeman who was found motionless on the ground. It was believed that he was shot. However, it was subsequently learned that he had fainted out of fear as bullets whistled around him. Looking back at that incident, it was definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter.